Okay, I'm gonna give Mac's video a try. It's early in the morning. I was looking at some accessories when I did the run yesterday. I noticed that when I flip the camera the other way, the sound drops off. It's not as good as the phone, you know. I don't know if the phone could have this optics and get this aspect ratio, this widescreen. If they could build this into a phone, it would make life much easier, and then I would just use a stick or something to run this video. So I'm walking down to a supermarket today called Silpo, and I have to go to the tax office later to get some papers for my company. Apparently software company is not enough for the designation. You know, the thing about Ukraine, it's a lot of bureaucracy. You know, you pay a 5% tax here on your income, but you have to deal with a hell of a lot of bureaucracy. You have to hire accountants, lawyers to get through the system. It's like America, just a cheaper version. You know, Norway, everything is expensive, but you can do it all yourself. You know, mostly. I mean, I have an accountant there for my Aksa Selskap AS company there. It's quite costly, but you know, when it does earn money, it earns good, so it offsets that. So yeah, let me just flip this around and show you. I think I don't know if this max mode improves the sound. I think the sound and the video are two different things. But I'm looking at these video attachments. There's a whole lot of accessories for the GoPro. So let me just show you. So this is the Viking Park over here, new project, and then this is another aspect of Avalon. These are the last, one of the last buildings they did. They had 5 buildings, so they popped up 2 right away. Then the 3rd came along. Then about a year or 2 later, the last 2 came along, and they were put up pretty fast. I mean, they were all started, you know, but then I think they just had a few guys, so they just would move from building to building. They all started roughly the same time, or at least planned, you know, I should say. But this Viking project, it's finally finishing up. This was, I have a friend who has an apartment there, and it's been really challenging for him. A lot of these building companies have some big labor shortages, but I know that Avalon, they're pretty reliable. They've been getting their stuff done. But I'll show you this Viking again. So here's another front aspect of Viking. So yeah, it's a nice proper building. It's like for IT companies, geared towards IT companies. We have a Lviv croissant there. We have a pizza place. We have a Thai restaurant coming along pretty soon. So it's coming along. Now this side is more interesting. This is again like one of these abandoned, where I don't know how abandoned it is, but it's an interesting site. This is all like old rundown post-Soviet stuff here. This could be a interesting project here. If someone with a lot of money were to buy that, they could build some office building or apartments here. There's a lot of this potential here. Ukraine is like Brazil. It's just full of this potential, you know, but you got to be real careful. It's really tricky. You know, there's a legal landscape, then you got to deal with workers. There's very little credit here, very little financing. So, you know, you either have to get investors or take a loan from your home country, and that money can get eaten up. So you have to be well connected, you know, to do something big here, because there's a lot of room for big projects here. And you know, Ukraine could become this country of immigrants. You know, they could be different than the rest of Europe. You know, I mean, I guess Germany is kind of trying that strategy, but it's I don't know how, or in France too, but I don't know if they're doing it right. They kind of expect immigrants to come in and just fill in jobs, but just hold a certain position in life. I don't know how many. It's not like America, where like a guy comes from India and then he's like CEO of Microsoft. I mean, the CEOs of the top tech companies in America, they were born in India. They're not Indian Americans. They were they were born in India and came later in life, came after they went to India Institute of Technology, and then they came to the US for a master's degree at Stanford or Harvard or someplace like that. I mean, when you have 1 billion people and you have a hyper competitive system like that, you know, you're going to get some pretty sharp tools, you know, pretty sharp people. And the American system doesn't care. It's just whoever can do the job the best. They don't care where you're born. But in Europe, there's a lot of this, you know, they have a lot of hang-ups. They have a lot of hang-ups. But maybe Ukraine could be different. Maybe they could bring in, you know, Indian leaders, you know, to run some of the companies and run some of the things. Because, I mean, you know, look at Microsoft. I mean, NVIDIA, you know, granted Jensen Huang is American-born Chinese, but still, you know, I think if this was a country of immigrants and immigrants had equal footing, of course they would have to learn Ukrainian. I'm guilty. I need to start my Ukrainian lessons. That's something I need to do. Oh, I want to show you this bus. This is the short bus here. I don't think I have zoom. Yeah, it's a short bus. You know, yeah, what we're talking about is if they could, you know, bring in immigrants, integrate them. Of course, they learn Ukrainian language, Ukrainian culture. They also learn English because it needs to be like Scandinavia. They got to be pragmatic. They've got to be well connected with Europe and the world. It's going to be an export economy, agricultural export, manufacturing, IT. So of course, you know, they're going to have to be like 2 national languages here. But if you want to be a citizen or something, I would imagine that you'd have to learn some level of Ukrainian, like the way I learned some B1 level of Norwegian when I got my citizenship in Norway. But they could engineer a society. I mean, there's room for it. They're 4.5 million jobs short. And, you know, I'm really thinking hard that the opportunity now is to bring, when I was in Dubai, to bring construction workers from India to Ukraine, because there is a massive shortage of construction workers here. I mean, massive. You know, most of the men, they got drafted off to the army or joined the army. Most of these construction workers are the kind of guys that would go to war. They would go up to bat for you in a heartbeat. You know, you have a lot of the IT guys here doing the draft dodging and stuff, but in a way it's they're bringing money into the country, and that money is just as much part of the war effort as going out and fighting. I mean, it's sad but true, but logistics wins wars. Top US generals said that. Yes, bravery and heroics play a role. That is part of it, but the other part is what's going on behind the scenes. So you need people working and paying taxes. But anyway, there is a massive opportunity, I think, to, you know, there's definitely going to be a reconstruction here. It's already happening. I mean, there's been a big migration here to Lviv, and I can't find a tile guy to save my life. I'm ready to put a bounty out of $1,500 to get that floor fixed, because I just need to get it done, and then just have the guys, you know, that'll be enough to have them jump off a bigger job and give me a few days. You know, that would be a real big motivator for them. You know, so it's something I'm going to look into and investigate, like what it would take to bring Turkish or Indian construction workers here and get a crew and see if we can grab some projects and everything. But that might be the future of Ukraine, is like being a nation of immigrants like America, following the American model. Because the European model, it's faltering. The innovation isn't on the level of America. I mean, you know, America has given us these top tech companies like Adobe and, you know, Google, Microsoft. I mean, there's just the only thing in Europe that comes close to this that I can think off the top of my head is SAP. You know, Smile and Pay, CRM system. And they've got pretty tough going against, you know, Microsoft products and Salesforce and what have you. So, yeah, Ukraine has to think outside the box. If they follow the European cookie cutter approach, that might not be enough for them to revive this economy. But anyway, that's all I got. Take care, and we'll see how this video works.